All right, hello guys. So today is I'm pre-recording. I'm not pre-recording, but I'm kind of it's kind of like a live stream. I don't know how to say it, but I'm doing all of this live in a minute. So Monday, this is the trade recap. So economic calendar, we've got nothing impactful coming out today. Okay, so weekly and or daily analysis. So zooming onto the daily, we seem to be at the low end of the range here, right? So we're really close to these lows. Okay, we're close to these lows, and obviously you got these highs here, right? Meaning we're close to sell side and buy side, aka a bear opportunity for shorts. We have a weekly gap, right, which is this massive green box, as well as relative equal lows, right? So relative equal lows, small lows, right? Long term seems to be a decline, aka manipulation into maybe that weekly gap, and then we distribute higher. We have a bit of a crisis going on between USA and Iran, so obviously we don't know exactly what's going to go on. Looking at this is technically last week because this was all on Sunday, so we can see that we have a gap that's going to form on the Monday. Okay, um, so both assets print a bearish gap. This on the daily, this is on the daily, therefore seeing an intraday rejection on a singular day is not always likely. Okay, however, this area and the lows are very important to pay attention to. Now let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hour doesn't really print anything of importance. This is obviously that daily gap. We just see price is moving lower. Okay. Um, and yeah, like I said, these notes are made on the Sunday's pre-market open, but today is the Monday, right? It's the 16th. We do run back into a bearish order block here, and we do get a reaction off of it. 1 hour has a bearish gap present. Okay, so this could be of interest for tomorrow since it is the PDRA that's closest to current price, right? So this we've got obviously no swing highs here, but we have a bearish gap here, right? Maybe you could, these are equal lows, equal highs, sorry. In pre-market, so midnight opening price, what does price do? So it moves lower before continuing higher, okay? We also print a bullish gap, and then we're also in that bearish hourly gap, okay? Now, during London session, what do we have? We have it sweeping out Asia session lows, okay? And then we have it rallying on higher, right? And we get an SMT on NQ, okay? And then a perfect move up into that hourly bearish gap, right? I think the most important thing to assess here is the reaction that occurs from this level. So if we get a displacement through it, then obviously we continue to see longs. Or if we see a reaction of it to the downside, we can expect some high time from narrative being followed, okay? Prior to New York AM open, we displaced above NQ's bearish gap, and then obviously we have ES with a much bigger gap that it might displace through, okay? If we displace through, we're looking for higher prices. We can look at the daily gap to be targeted and stuff like that. If we end up respecting it, we can see lower prices, so these lows, and obviously those higher time from lows. It does seem overall we want to push higher and come into that daily imbalance. However, we have to wait and see what price does. So as soon as market opens, we wick into that hourly bullish gap right here. We wick into it. Okay. Then we get a nice displacement higher, right? I said, sorry, if we get a nice displacement higher, I can see an entry for a possible low here. So then this is my current entry look. So New York just opened, okay? We wick down and then we start to see displacement higher, okay? So we break through the previous highs, we get a change in the state of delivery, we have a nice bullish market structure shift, and then obviously here is a 3 minute gap, okay? Stop loss is at the 5 minute candles close, and here we are. Oh, okay, we're actually in the trade. Um, so yeah, at this point, I'm just kind of looking and hoping for this high to be broken through, in which I will obviously take some partials, but let's actually just 605, so we got entered here. Okay. Price is obviously quite close to our stop loss. And we are seeing something not in tandem, right? Price is continuing on higher here. Okay. And price obviously, you know, NQES, they are ideally to move in tandem, but obviously it's not always guaranteed. Okay. Let me just create this, discard, there we go. So here, price could just be collecting fair value for the time being. Okay. So we're just waiting and seeing what a possible up close candle out of it, rejection, because we do come into this area completely. Okay. 5 minute, that's the candle close. We get a 5 minute gap here as well. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see price respect it, but obviously at this current moment in time, we don't know what's going to happen. I could get stopped out due to a typed stop loss. But yeah, obviously, given the range, we are on a discount. We have this nice gap forming. We have a nice bullish market structure shift. We get a change in the state delivery. This is that order block. And obviously, it should ideally get protected, right? On the 5-minute here. This is that obviously change in the state delivery would be here, but obviously that's just a bit funky, isn't it? So let's bullish order block. We literally hit the 50% level. Obviously, if price continues lower, then what we could expect to happen is simply we run into this gap, okay? Because we do look into it, so we create an intermediate term low. And obviously, I'm expecting price to maybe push into this if we do get stopped out, okay? So now it's just a point of kind of sitting on your hands and waiting. There's not really else to do. When we break through this high, I will take a partial, okay? Just kind of having that on standby because we do get a nice rejection. We are on ES about to close through a high as well. So I think actually when we break through here on ES, I'll take the position, right? This high is obviously, we're very close, right? Very, very similar. Okay, so let's just take one off. That's completely fine. Obviously, I didn't get filled in on exactly the area that I wanted to, but obviously I'm not going to sit here and cry. So now if we have a look on the 15-minute, this is a swing high. Right, so this is an intermediate term high. If we break through it, then obviously what can we do? We can expect much higher prices, okay? Obviously I would love for us to run, for me to obviously put my target all the way here, but I think I'm happy with just getting my piece of the pie here, really. With regards to my stop loss, I'm actually going to move it to break even. Why? Well, you know, price could very easily reverse off of this level, okay? So let me actually just obviously annotate this. So let's take a screenshot and let's say, boom, boom. I got entered in this trade. I took a partial already when ES reached up into that 15-minute external high, okay? External range high. SL is now at B. This could be a move stop loss trail too soon. However, I am not willing to see price reverse off of this possible sweep. Okay. Ideally, we see price rebalance this large gap and move off higher. Okay. Next partial will be closer to full TP. Okay. So somewhere around, if we just draw the fib tool correctly, right? So yeah, honestly, we could actually, I'm gonna trail my take profit. Why? Because we can see that that's just happened, hasn't it? That's the correct one. There we go. The low is at, see the low of this candle, 3.6. Yeah. Okay, so you see how we have a down close on this gap, increases the likeliness of price really coming back into it. I don't know what else to say here. We do get a nice, oh, never mind. Okay, price is coming back down. Obviously here, there we go. There's a 2-minute gap. If we close below, then there's some reason to expect lower prices, but for now we do have this 1-minute gap here on ES, right? So we kind of do fill it in. Here we tap into it, okay. And now it's just a point of waiting, okay. If I get stopped out, then so yeah, that's fine. I don't really care what I'm at right now. And matter of fact, what I'm going to do is, just for safety purposes, just to take some additional profits, I will close another contract. Okay. Best thing to do here is to grab your piece of the pie and get out. So let's just say price has begun to get quite close to B, therefore took another contract off. Using this as my runner and won't take any more early profits off. Okay. Now here we go. Obviously, that's my updated take profit region. I would like to obviously see where the low is. 805. Okay, that's cool. So we do have an intermediate low form possibly, unless obviously price breaks through right now. But yeah. So I'm obviously now at this point I'm not touching the trade anymore. If we reach break even, we reach break even. There's nothing I'm gonna do. But I will pause the video and update you guys when obviously we do get some more information really regarding the trade. If I got stopped out, we're reaching higher. If I have a new stop loss moved and whatnot. Okay. All right, guys. I'm back a little bit. Stop loss hasn't been moved. I think I should probably move it to this intermediate term low, right? I'm gonna you guys do it with me. Just right here, right? Because well, if we pay attention, we have this 2-minute gap, then we get displacement through it, which is nice and clean. You know, see next time we get displacement through, that's where the next stop loss will be. But yeah, price is moving in the intended direction, which is nice. We are at around the same level on ESNNQ in terms of getting up there. I wanted to unpause to talk about TGR got exposed by Inman Trading, which is a bit insane. And I was kind of reading the comments on a lot of the things, and they were saying if you can publish your trading and stuff willingly online, when you have an edge, then obviously you're not one of the smartest people in the world, are you? Let's be real. Imagine my strategy now had a 99% win rate, okay? And I could make so much money from it, and I just published it online. You know, I wouldn't do it for free. I'm telling you now, I 100% will not do it for free because that's a way for other people to make money, and they're gonna make money off of me, off of the stuff that I took years to learn. Like that's just not how it's gonna work, you know? But yeah, I think like I'm kind of contemplating whether to continue uploading due to that exact like kind of dilemma. I'd rather record still and just not upload because at the end of the day, like I don't know, it raised a really good point, man. Like it really did raise a good point. But anyway, also I'm just sat here kind of looking at the chart. I think what price is gonna want to do, let's check if there's any gaps in there. All these gaps have been filled fairly. 2-minute gap, okay. So it's just a 2-minute, and there's a 1-minute large gap right here. We can see. You see this gap here? The cursor's covering. Price isn't tapped into that yet, but it might not because it's already tapped into a higher time frame one right here. Okay. But yeah, I'm kind of expecting price to not expecting. I'm anticipating price to just continue on higher and run into that daily gap. Okay, that daily gap. Obviously, I could be super clean about it and be like, oh, let's go right here, right? Because there's a gap, but I literally do not care. It's going along the fib tool, and it's moving higher, right? I think we might get a little bit of stagnation now because taking out the small high and we're in like this massive order block, okay? But if price does want to continue higher, it will do so, okay? Once again, I'm already protected. I've got my stop loss here, this intermediate term low where we break through. Waiting for this next break. And also I'm going to let price play around a little bit where it's going to have a retracement again. And then I'll put my stop loss here, right? Price could come back down to fill in this 1 minute at any given point. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you lot updated. Trade does seem to be going well so far. We've been in this trade for how long have we been in this trade for? We've been in the trade for 40 minutes. 40-minute trade, right? Which is not too bad. But yeah, I'll let Price do what he wants, as I've said 4 times in a row, and I'll come back when there's more information. Alright guys, we're back and our stop loss got hit. Right, so our stop loss was right here and Price plummets down with an aggressive candle and takes us out, okay? Now, reason for this being could be a couple things. We take out this high, okay? And then we reach into this area, which is a bearish order block, or it could literally just be a retracement back down to New York AM, New York price, right? 930 price, before we then rally on higher and finish off this move, okay? Obviously, if we have an SMT form here, then that's quite valuable. We do still have this hourly bearish gap that price may want to reach into as a retracement prior to moving off higher. Same with this one, okay? So overall, that was a good trade. I feel like I shouldn't have been. I took off a contract when I was moving down here, and that was kind of because I was scared, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we can see price hits the 0.5 level of the fib and then it retraces, okay? But yeah, other than that, the trade entry was actually really clean. I like the look of it a lot. So we had this reach into the key level, okay? We take out these lows as well. And we get a change of state delivery, displace it through, bullish market structure shift, bang, we have a fair value gap, and then obviously this was our target, right? I wish I kept that contract on, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and cry. But yeah, that's that on the trade recap. You guys might get a back test from me later, depending on how I'm feeling. I might just do it on my own, especially given TJR's current shit. But yeah, all right, cool. That's that, and I'll see you lot tomorrow. Bye.